What's up, cool kids? John here from What's Johnny Watching. Well, a couple of weeks ago, Tim over at Tim Talks Talkies issued another challenge to us in the physical media community, and he wants us to list our top 15 favorite 1970s films. Yes, I have a lot there. I have my top 15, plus I have, I think, 14 other honorable mentions. The reason I decided to do mine like this, I'm just going to give you guys my favorites that I have in my collection. Now, there are some movies out there that are great films from the 1970s, but I just don't have them in my collection. It doesn't mean that I don't like them. I just don't have them. And to help me, I have brought along everyone's favorite co-host of mine, my wife, April. Say hello.
Hello.
So, ready to get into it?
Let's do it.
All right, I'm going to start off with my honorable mentions. These are in no particular order. So, start off with the first one. And this one is Lady Snowblood. Now, I was recommended this from Dell and KB and Nick over at Movie AV Impulse. The reason that this is not in my top 15, this is a great film. And if you've seen this and you've seen Kill Bill, you saw where Quentin Tarantino got a lot of his inspiration for Kill Bill from this. This is a great martial arts film, but I just haven't seen it enough to make it want to be in my top 15. But here's Lady Snowblood. And the next one.
Chilly Scenes of Winter.
Okay, Chilly Scenes of Winter. Saw when I was on Mega Mike's Criterion stream, a friend of mine, Vin, suggested this, thought it was a great movie, so I decided to pick it up. Again, it is a good film, but I hadn't seen it before I saw the film High Fidelity, and if you've seen High Fidelity with John Cusack, they borrowed heavily from this, and I just wish I had seen this before I saw High Fidelity. If you've seen High Fidelity, it's a great film. This is just like it, except it was made back in the 70s.
Smokey and the Bandit.
Smokey and the Bandit. Again, I love Smokey and the Bandit, but it's not in my top 15 for some reason.
Because you're stupid.
Okay, she says I'm stupid, so that's the reason why it's not in there. You remember that t-shirt I showed you? I want a Diablo sandwich and a Dr.
Yes.
That Jackie Gleason absolutely makes this movie, but again, I like it. It's not one of my favorites.
I love it.
Well, I guess it's because you're not stupid like me.
Amen. Jaws 2. Oh,
you need
I
to show the front.
around.
Jaws 2. Yes, this is not as good as the first Jaws, but this is one of the better sequels that's been made to a great film. To me, it's like, are we really seeing this again? Are they really going after the shark again? It really doesn't work. With the first one, you have Robert Shaw and Dick Dreyfuss and Roy Scheider. With this, you just have Roy Scheider in it. It's good, but it's not great. That's an honorable mention.
Enter the Dragon.
Enter the Dragon. I'm not going to talk about the transfer of this at all because it's been talked to death and it looks not good. But I watched this a lot when I was growing up. My brother absolutely loved this. It's a good movie. Again, it didn't crack the top 15. It's not good enough to crack my top 15.
American Graffiti.
American Graffiti. For those of you who know me, I absolutely love Steven Spielberg.
Yes, you do.
And even though, he's best friends with George Lucas, this was Lucas's really first big movie. And it did kind of put him on the map. Even though he did make Star Wars later. American Graffiti, it's a great coming-of-age film. If you've seen Dazed and Confused, you haven't seen Dazed and Confused, have you?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you can see where Rick Linklater...
Does it have Matthew McConaughey in it? And...
Yes, it does have Matthew McConaughey.
Yeah, I've seen it then, yeah. Okay.
This is just like... It's a 1950s version of Dazed and Confused. It's really good, really great. But not good enough for a top 15.
French Connection.
The French Connection. Although we lost, Billy Friedkin earlier, this is an amazing film. Academy Award winning film with, Gene Hackman winning Best Actor. Great film. Popeye Doyle. Roy Scheider's in this. And I had to buy this on Blu-ray because I heard on some streaming sites they're cutting out some of the language in this. Yeah, some racist language. So I had to have it. French Connection.
Because you are racist.
My God. Please don't listen to her. She's drunk.
Not yet. Why is there 3 discs?
All right.
It's Carrie.
Brian De Palma's film, Carrie. I had only seen this once when I was growing up. And it's one of the better Stephen King horror adaptations that's been made. It's not the best. I still think The Shawshank Redemption is probably the best one of his adaptations that's been made. You're wanting to know why there's 3 discs in here. You have the 4K disc. You have a Blu-ray disc. And the Blu-ray.
You're one of those people where you have to have all the discs.
Yes. You see what I have to put up with? She belittles me and my collecting habits.
I love you.
I love you too. But Carrie, great performances from Sissy Spacek and an early appearance from John Travolta and Nancy Allen. But Sissy Spacek was really great in this. The mother, I think Piper Laurie, just batshit crazy. But again, it's a great film. It's just wasn't strong enough to make my top 15. Piranha. The best Jaws rip-off, knockoff, if you want to call it that, that's been made of those killer shark movies. I know we have The Meg and Deep Blue Sea, but Piranha's probably the best one. Joe Dante directed this. This is great. I love this movie. I think I saw it for the first time last year, year before last. But it's good, but not top 15 worthy.
Black Christmas, and I'm not even going to say what that makes me think of around her face or whatever on the cover.
What? Black Christmas. Directed by Bob Clark. It's about a killer inside of a house terrorizing a bunch of sorority sisters. And you never really see his face. All you see is an eye. And he calls them in from inside the house. And he's whispering to them. It's really creepy. And I fucking love it. But without this, we don't have John Carpenter's Halloween. This is the original slasher film. I will go to my grave defending this. Absolutely wonderful film. I love it. But not good enough for top 15. I'm sorry. Just wait till you guys see my top 15.
Amityville Horror. This should have been top 15.
The Amityville Horror. This was one of the 3 films growing up that my parents forbade me from watching.
Really?
Yeah. My parents refused to let me watch this.
Good Lord.
This is a great movie, but again, it's not all factual. They made it up.
Why does it have to be factual, though? I mean,
because they wrote a book about it, and they said all these things happened, and then later on they said, no, we were just kidding. It's not real.
It could have happened. You never know.
No. They came out and said it didn't happen. I don't give a shit.
It's going to happen in this house.
But the Amityville Horror, this is a really good horror film, but I knocked it down because once I found out that, everything was bad, I can't have it in my top 15. I can't do it. I can't do it. Rod Steiger as the priest who comes in and he's attacked by the flies and everything. James Brolin, Margot Kidder, which, if you've seen, Black Christmas, she has a wonderful potty mouth. But in here, she really doesn't have it that much. But this movie has its moments, scary moments. But, once I found out, it was all made up. It was all made up, damn it. I had to knock it down.
The Last Picture Show?
The Last Picture Show. Peter Bogdanovich's, he really burst onto the scene when he directed this. This is a coming-of-age film set in a dying 1950s Texas town. And just everything that goes on with the town just slowly dying and the inhabitants of it. This is an absolutely amazing film. I was able to check it out for the first time this past year when they announced the 4K for the Criterion. This is great. Ben Johnson with an Academy Award-winning performance. Cloris Leachman. I think it's Cloris or Clois. I think it's Cloris. Yeah, Cloris Leachman as the kind of like wife who cheats on her husband. And what are you doing?
You have something on your ear.
God, stop doing that. Making the hair stand up. This is a great film, but again, not enough to crack my top 15.
Mean Streets.
Mean Streets. Martin Scorsese's film. I checked this out for the first time this past year, and I gotta say, this is an amazing film. I love the performances in here from Harvey Keitel and Robert De Niro.
Sorry.
I never seen this before, but you know, everybody loves it, and I'd never seen it, so I finally picked up the Criterion of it. I kind of wish I picked up the second sight, but you know, I'm a huge fan of Criterion's. But it's more recency. I haven't seen it enough to say it's one of my top 15s.
Close Encounters of the Third Kind.
And my last honorable mention is Close Encounters of the Third Kind. I mean, Steven Spielberg, again, knocks it out of the park with this film that he released, I believe, in 78, 77, something like that, with Richard Dreyfuss in it as this man who sees a UFO and he becomes haunted by these images. He just has to figure out everything that's going on, and he makes this mountain out of mashed potatoes, which looks like Devil's Tower out in, I think, Arizona or Utah. Great film, but again, it's not in my top 15. Now, we are into the top 15, so let's get started with
Barry Lyndon.
Barry Lyndon, Stanley Kubrick's film. What else can I say about this that hasn't been said? Amazing cinematography. The performances here, especially by Ryan O'Neal, just lost him. I didn't like his Irish accent, but everything else was amazing. And it's kind of like a Forrest Gump-ish film where he finds himself in all of these situations back in, like, takes place during the 7 Years' War, and he goes into high society. He marries into money, and he tries to be high society, but he's not. It's really great. This really turned me on to Stanley Kubrick's films, and I cannot wait to check out the rest of them. Number 14.
Rocky 2.
Rocky 2.
Yo, Adrian.
Well, yeah, he says Yo, Adrian a lot. This is a very, very well-made sequel to a classic film, Rocky. I mean, it's not as good as Rocky. I think the story is really not on par with the first one, but the performances from Carl Weathers and Talia Shire and Sylvester Stallone, I had to include this in my top 15. So it's number 14. Okay, number 13 is
The Exorcist. What?
This was film number 2 that my parents forbade me from watching growing up because they thought that if I saw this, then I would get possessed by the devil somehow.
You are.
You're not supposed to tell anybody.
Sorry, I took your soul.
Yeah, that's right. She's a ginger, so she takes souls. Again, another classic film from William Friedkin. Too bad the sequel is one of the worst films that's ever been made. I've only seen it once and I won't watch it again. But performances here, Linda Blair, Max von Sydow. I'm trying to find the Jason Miller. I don't think you know his son. His son was in The Lost Boys. Jason Patrick. Oh, okay. His grandfather's Jackie Gleason. You know who Jackie Gleason is?
No.
Smart ass. But yeah, I love this movie. It's not my favorite horror movie of all time, but I had to include it in my top 15. Number 12.
Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. Oompa, oompa, oompity doo.
See, she's not even saying it right, but it's still so cute the way she does it. But Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. I first saw this when I was in elementary school, and we had library class, and they would either show this or they would show Star Wars. And so we got to see this a lot. Gene Wilder absolutely makes this movie. I think it's one of his best performances on screen. This is the best adaptation of Roald Dahl's classic story. Johnny Depp's version of it is just horrible. It's awful. But I want to see Timothy Chalamet's version of it.
Johnny Depp ain't that bad, but yeah, that's the best so far.
It's the best. So this had to be on my list. So where are we at now?
Staying alive, staying alive. Saturday Night Fever.
Saturday Night Fever. This introduced me to John Travolta when I was growing up. My mother was obsessed with this movie for some reason. She kept renting it over and over and over again. So I sat down and watched it, and I'm like, okay, it's pretty good. Then I didn't see it again until Paramount did the 4K 40th anniversary of it. And I sat down and watched it again, and I'm like, Travolta's really solid in this. It's an amazing movie. I think John Badham directed it. Yeah, he also did Short Circuit. You ever seen Short Circuit?
I love that movie.
They need a 4K of that. We need to get them on this. Great performances in here. I mean, but everybody knows when you mention Saturday Night Fever, you have to mention the soundtrack. One of the greatest soundtracks that's ever been released. So this had to make it on my list. And I'll tell you a little of the secret. Grease isn't on here. I've never seen Grease.
Grease is the word.
Grease is not the word.
Grease is awesome.
Number 10. Alien. Yeah, Ridley Scott's amazing Alien film with Sigourney Weaver, Tom Skerritt, Yaphet Kotto. We miss you, Yaphet Kotto.
Yeah, sorry, I'm just like in Saturday Night Fever. Now you got me wanting to listen to the music, sorry.
Yeah, Alien. This movie still gets to me, especially in the scene where Ripley, at the very end when she's getting in the escape pod, and you see the light that goes by and you see the alien back there, you know it's there, but yet when it jumps out, it still makes me jump. I like this film better than Aliens. I know I'm going to get a lot of hate on this. Everybody says Aliens is better, but it's not. This is sci-fi horror, whereas Aliens is sci-fi action.
What's the difference?
What do you mean?
Aliens and this is Alien.
Aliens is the sequel.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I'm just out in left field.
Don't worry. It's Alien. We're getting Aliens on 4K, and I'm going to make her watch this and Aliens. So, okay, we're at what, number 9?
3 Days of the
Condom. Nope. It's All the President's Men.
Oh, well, excuse me. Don't have two damn.
Well, this is how it was released.
Well, then tell me which one you want.
Well, you're whipping them out before I can say which one it is. But
you're just saying go to the next one.
Okay, it's All the President's Men here. They really need to do a 4K release of this, especially Criterion Collection. Dustin Hoffman and Robert Redford play Woodward and Bernstein. And they're the ones who essentially broke the whole Watergate story against President Nixon and brought down the dog. Okay, all right. Maybe they haven't.
Well, but you're looking at me like I'm stupid, like I haven't seen it, so like you look at me every day.
See, I'm trying here. But All the President's Men, it's my favorite political thriller movie.
What about JFK?
Damn it.
Yeah, I thought so.
Okay. All right. It's my number 2 favorite. JFK being number 1, but All the President's Men. There's something about the whole process that Woodward and Bernstein actually went through to uncover the story of the slush fund and everything that Nixon used to cover up the Watergate break-in. Great film. I really want a 4K release of this. So what are we at now?
Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Okay. Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Number 8. Sorry, I have to count. I lose count. But Texas Chainsaw Massacre, this was the first film that my parents forbade me from watching. I mean, what? I hear sirens.
They're coming for me.
They're coming for me because you're going to abuse me. But the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, it's still one of the greatest horror films that's ever been made. You could make an argument for the 2003 remake that we went to go watch. That's on par with this. Just the gritty look of this film and just the noises. Oh, God, the noises still get on my nerves. Just, ugh. But I absolutely love this film, and there's no way that I was going to leave this off my top 15. What are we at?
Godfather Part 2.
The Godfather Part 2. Now, a lot of people will say that this is the best film in the Godfather trilogy. I don't. I think the original one is the best one because you have one linear story in the first one, whereas in Part 2, you get to see Michael's rise to power alongside Vito's rise to power when he comes over on the boat from Sicily. Or he comes over to America. Excuse me. And he comes over and you get to see it's almost parallel. This one is longer than the first one. I think the performances in this one are better than they are. At least Pacino's performance in Part 2 is better than Part 1. But it's just not better than the first one for me. So, number...
I don't know. I lost count.
Number 6.
Rocky. Yo, Adrian.
All right. Rocky. This is the best out of the Rocky franchise. The story is by far superior than all of them, including the Creed movies, which I won't watch Creed 3 because of what they did to Stallone. But Rocky, it is the ultimate underdog story. Nobody believed in him but himself and Adrian. And he, a lot of my friends said, oh, Rocky's not, I like the second one or the third one because, he wins. I'm like, well, Rocky was not about him winning. Rocky just wanted to go the distance. That's all he wanted to do. And you also have that amazing love story between Rocky and Adrian. It's just an amazing film. It's one of my favorite sports movies that's ever been made. Where are we, in 5?
Yeah. Halloween.
Yes, Michael Myers.
Yes.
Halloween, John Carpenter's original. Still one of the best slasher films that's ever been made. I mean, it made Jamie Lee Curtis the scream queen that she is today. Carpenter's music, especially, the theme from Halloween is so iconic. The William Shatner mask that The Shape wears, because he wasn't called Michael Myers in the credits. He was called The Shape. So iconic, so great. It's one of my favorites, and it's number, 5?
Yes.
All right, we're in the top 4 now.
Woo-woo!
So I'm almost done. You guys, I'm almost done.
Hallelujah, raise the roof.
Number 4 is...
Dawn of the Dead.
Oh...
Is that the one we went to see?
No. That was the crappy version.
Oh, okay.
Dawn of the Dead, 1978, George Romero, his sequel to the classic Night of the Living Dead. To this day, it still holds up. It's an amazing film. It makes me, like, whenever I go into a mall, before they got rid of all of them, I used to go into the mall, and I would always look for these back passages.
It'd make you tear up.
Well, no, because I'd always try to find these back passages. Okay, if a zombie attack were to happen, I could go in here and I'd have full access to the mall. It was so great. I love this, and especially the second sight version of it where they fixed all the color of the blood. It still looks amazing. But this film, It's in my top 5. As a matter of fact, it's number 4.
Yes.
I still love it. And yes, it's better than Zack Snyder's. Number 3.
Dun, 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 dun.
Star Wars. It's Star Wars. You know it was going to be on the list. The only thing with this one is, this is the version where Han shot first. I will not upgrade to any others until they give us where Han shot first, the theatrical release. But Star Wars, I saw this movie repeatedly as a child, whether it be at home or in school in library class. This is still one of the greatest movies that's ever been made. One of the best stories that's ever been told, even though Empire Strikes Back is a better story. I don't care. I love Star Wars. Disney or Sony, you now have the access to their library. Give us the theatrical cut. Come on. Number 2. The Godfather.
Hey, we said that together. That's pretty cool.
You really need to sit down and watch the Godfather trilogy.
I've seen the first one a little bit. Yeah, no.
Well, just the first 2. You really don't need to see the third one.
I don't need to see the second one either.
Oh my God. But the Godfather. What else can I say? I believe it's number 2 overall. The greatest films that's ever been made. The first one being Citizen Kane. Marlon Brando, Al Pacino, James Caan, John Cazale. Talia Shire, Diane Keaton. Amazing film. This one I can watch repeatedly over, Godfather 2 or most other films. This is one of the greatest films that's ever been made, and it's number 2 on my list. Deal with it. Now, we're down to number 1, and it is...
The reason we can never go to the beach. Jaws.
Yeah, Jaws. Jaws is my number 1, as I'm sure it'll be everybody's number 1 who submits a list like this.
Probably not.
This movie redefined how people go to the beach, because it did. People are scared to get into the water after watching this. I'm one of them.
You're still one of them.
Yes, that's what I just said. I'm still one of them. This movie is not taking away the shark aspect of it. The writing is great, and especially the scene, the USS Indianapolis scene with Robert Shaw when they're on the Orca, almost towards the very end of the movie, is probably the best scene in the whole film. I just remember watching this, and I'm still terrified to go in the water, and I'm 45 years old, and I'll go maybe waist deep, and I won't stay in there that long. This movie still scares the hell out of me. She won't go in it, but I don't think it has anything to do with sharks.
No.
But Jaws, that's my number 1 on the list. So there you have it. You have my 15. You also have my bunch of my honorable mentions. What'd you think of the list?
Okay.
See, it's just okay to her.
Some of them that was on your honorable mention should be on your top 15, but what do I know?
Well, I don't know. But anyway, there's my top 15. Let me know down in the comments section below what your top 15 would be, and what did you think of my list? Also, if you guys haven't already done it, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, because it's free. And April will like it too. So.
Well, yeah, I guess so.
You guess so?
I guess so.
All right. Well, that's it for April. I want to say thank you.
Thank you, and have a good evening.
And as for Johnny, what are you watching today?